Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. I hope you've all been enjoying this lovely weather we've been having. In this week's video, I'm going to be carrying on with the air system. I know I've made a lot of videos about this, but it seems to be fairly problematic on the Mercedes Varios. So I want to make sure I cover all bases. And in the previous video, I fixed a few little leaks I had on the system so that it was nice and airtight. When I was doing that, I found that the bottom of my secondary tank was very rusty. And so I've bought a replacement one, which I'm going to be fitting in this week's video. They're slightly different sizes, as you can see. They're both 5 litre tanks. This one's rated at 12.5 bar. The new one's rated at 20 bar. So it's obviously been pressure tested a bit higher, and it's also got an extra port on it. This has only got 3 ports, whereas this one's got 4. So I may actually take my pressure sensor and put it in one of the spare ports, and I've ordered some new drain valves for my air tanks as well, and I'll show you those in a little while. It's a bit more compact, which is nice. It doesn't take up as much room, so I quite like that about it, and it gives me peace of mind that, you know, when I'm in the middle of nowhere, my secondary air tank isn't going to fail on me with having that rusty patch on the bottom of it. If I've got a brand new one, it restores reliability to the system, and then hopefully my brakes don't come on in the middle of nowhere, leaving me stranded. I start off by draining the air out of the tanks, as it's really important to make sure the system's depressurised before working on it, as I demonstrated to you in the last video. With the air now drained out the tank, it's safe to work on, so I remove the air supply going into the secondary tank. It's this fitting here, and they're all 22mm fittings on these tanks, which is quite handy. I then need to remove the bracket which is holding the tank to the chassis, and as you can see, it's very rusty. So I use my wire wheel on a drill and then just clean up the threads. I also soak the nuts in a little bit of plus gas, which is penetrating fluid, just to give us the best chance of getting them off there without snapping the stud. I use my impact to remove the nuts. The first one came off lovely, just like that. The second one, well, it snapped, but that's okay because we're not going to be using this bracket anyway. So I just take that bracket off there, like that. And then the other half of the bracket is secured to the chassis, so let's get a ratchet in there, and then I'll use my impact to just whiz those bolts out of the chassis. Now this impact may look like a fancy DeWalt one, but it's not. It was actually under £100 from Amazon. It's a great bit of kit, and I'll put a link in the description below if you want to pick one up. After removing the bracket, I get my wire wheel on the grinder and just take off the powder coating from the bottom of the old tank. And it exposes just how bad that rust actually is. You can see the water's got underneath the powder coating, and it's just completely corroded the bottom of the tank. It's very pitted, and I'm not actually sure how thick this metal is anymore. I did consider welding a plate over this pitted area, however I'm not sure I trust my welding skills on a pressurised cylinder. And so I'm going to be installing the new tank directly to the chassis. I found that a couple of these bolt holes lined up quite well, and it saves me drilling some new ones in the chassis if I can use the existing ones. I did however have to make some minor adjustments, so using my hole saw I just cut out this little section of the mudguard bracket to accommodate the washer there. On the inside of the chassis, I use a couple of washers just to space it away from the chassis itself, and that's so that water doesn't sit behind it and rust the chassis. And also it should sit flush with that larger washer there on the left. The new tank didn't come with any blanking plugs, so just bear that in mind. I ended up using the one out of the old tank. It looks absolutely fine. I just replaced the copper sealing washer. And then using my impact, I just spun it into the new tank, being careful not to cross thread it, of course. I test fit the tank to make sure the bolts line up with the bracket, which they now do. I did have to open up the hole slightly with my drill. And before finally securing the tank in position, I use a little bit of black spray paint just to paint any bare metal so that it doesn't go rusty. So that's a new 5 litre air tank installed. I've also got some new drain offs for the tanks so that I can quickly and conveniently drain any water out of the system. Moisture in a compressed air system isn't good for it, so it's really important to make sure you regularly drain any water out of the tanks. And with this style of valve, it's much quicker and easier to drain off any moisture. And these drain valves come in a pair, so I might as well change the other one as well. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to pick some up. And then you can see our new air tank's connected. I just screwed on that connection there, and that's our sensor that goes up to the dashboard. Our drain valve's on the bottom now, so that's nice and easy to drain off, and this sensor will go in this port here. I'm just waiting for the adapter to come, and of course we've got a plug in the end there as well off of the old tank. Fortunately, the other tank's not quite as rusty, so I didn't have to replace that. I just swapped out the drain valve. After repressurizing the system, I found that the new drain valves were actually leaking past the O-rings, so you'll need to use a retaining collars off of the old plugs, which just hold the O-rings in place. Failing that, you could always use one of those copper sealing washers instead. That would also work. This is a tank socket I've got for my pressure sensor. I showed you how to install the sensors in a previous video, so you can check that one out if you're interested. But this has got a 22mm thread on the outside and a 1/8 NPT threaded pocket in it. This socket comes with an O-ring on it, so you don't have to worry about that. I just nip it up using my spanner and then fit my sensor, making sure to put a little bit of PTFE on the threads so that they don't leak. I then reconnect the sensor up and then finally test it for leaks. With the system back up to pressure and having tested for leaks, I can now show you how these drain off valves work. So you can just press on this little pin here and it just blasts out any moisture from the bottom of the tanks. I've made up this accessory line so I can connect this straight onto the test point on my truck's air tank, and then I'll be able to power accessories from this line. For example, I've got here a tyre inflator with gauge, and I can connect that up and then pump my tyres up using this. I'll show you that in a moment. I've also ordered an adapter, so hopefully I'll be able to inflate paddle boards off of the truck as well. So when I'm travelling around, I won't have to manually pump them up. So this is what I've got. My adapter goes into one of those normal quick release connectors, and then it's got that on the other end, another quick release connector into the hose there, which goes straight onto the test point. So let me connect that up to the test point. I'm just going to chuck that underneath the truck. This is a test point here, and as you can see, that plastic bit in the end, if you push that, air will come out. So I just take this and screw that on the test point. Like that. And now the hose is pressurized. So we've got this nice flexible hose, and I can take this around wherever I want. It reaches all the way around the truck, and I've got a good amount of pressure there, 12 bar actually, which is plenty for pumping up my tyres. So let's pump this one up. That's the tank's up to pressure. And I'm just going to whack some in here. There we go. An animal's bloody pissed up my wheels. Does my head in when they do that. You know, if someone's holding their dog on a lead and they let them do that, although it could be a cat, couldn't it? Do cats wee like that? If you've ever tried to manually pump up a paddleboard using one of the hand pumps, you will know just how exhausting it is. So I've got this adapter here, which goes from the paddleboard to a tyre inflator, one of these Schrader valves, and I'm gonna try and use my truck to blow up a paddleboard. Okay, I'm going to start a timer and time how long it takes to fill up the paddleboard to 1 bar, which is 15 psi. So there we go, it took around 14 minutes to fill up this paddleboard using the truck's little air compressor. So it takes quite a while, but you can do it. I would probably recommend just getting a little electric paddleboard pump though. It's much more convenient. And it's much quicker, but it's nice to know that you can if you need to, or if you want to, or even if you just get it up to a certain pressure and then just top it up the rest of the way, because it's always when you get to the end of filling up your paddleboard that it becomes much harder to do it by hand. So you could just do it most of the way using a hand pump and then just top it off using the truck's compressor. Just a little idea. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful. If you have, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you click that alarm bell and set notifications to all, you'll be notified when I post new videos. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys, bye for now. Right, I'm finished now, so I just undo that. And I'm going to keep this with my emergency kit just behind the driver's seat there. That can go in there as and when I need it. Perfect.